Yes, thank you.
Okay. Okay. That's item advised, about 20, 25 lines up. Tani Chada. The first photo online is Nishtan Aguf. Yesterday we had a Shlokish that had a couple of homework to learn out that Misa Sa'av, the death of the father also releases Dam Avriya. The father sold the daughter, and the different ways that she gets released by Simonim, Sheish, Yovel, Pidyon, and he said also Misa Sa'av. That was a Chiddush of Shlokish. He had a couple of homework. Yesterday I said the couple of homework wrong. Dave Yaakov had this couple of homework. I put it into the Gemara, but the Gemara doesn't say it exactly. I learned the Gemara that it says which one is easier to get released from the father's domain or the Adam's domain. But the Gemara doesn't say that. The Gemara says that Misa Sa'av is stronger than Simanim. The Gemara, I didn't read it right, but death of the father is a bigger release than Simanim, because Simanim doesn't release her from her father, and Misa Sa'av does release her from her father. So you see that Misa Sa'av is stronger than the Simanim, and if Simanim get her out of the out of Rosh Hashanah, so surely Misa Sa'av does. And the Gemara at the end brought a proof against Rish Lakish that it doesn't say. Some places it says Misa Sa'av, then it doesn't say Misa, does not say Misa Sa'av. So the Gemara disproves Rish Lakish that the Misa Sa'av does not release the daughter, means that the father sold his daughter. Let's say he died when she was 10 years old. She has to still wait it out till the end, till she's 12, and then Simanim, and then she'll leave. Just because the father died doesn't release her. So we're up to the Tani Chada. Tani Chada, Anaka v'dibri la'atzmo, v'anaka mavriya la'atzmo. One verse says, there's the din of Hanaka. Hanaka, nowadays the word is used also on Manak, a present. It's they made it into Hebrew, and it's a parsha in Parshas Re'eh. That's in Devarim 15. 15? Yeah. Pasuk 12. There's a parsha about Evidibri over there. Over there it says, let's read it in English. When your Jewish brother or maidservant is sold to you, he works for 6 years, on the 7th year goes free. And when you send him free, don't send him empty-handed. Give him a present from your sheep, from your silo, from your vat, from your wine. That Hashem blessed you, you should give him. That which Hashem blessed you should give him. So when Evet Ivri or Amavriya leaves, is a din to give them a present from your belongings. Remember that you were evident in Mitzrayim and Hashem redeemed you, and therefore I'm commanding you to do this thing.
You don't have to buy growing.
You said it's 15. 15 what?
15, Pasuk 12, 13, 14. That's where it says the mitzvah of Hanukkah. Hey, ayin, nun, kofei. The mitzvah to give a present to the Evet Ivri or the Amavriya when they leave. Only Jew, right? Not by a go. So now what the Brisa says about this mitzvah of Hanukkah, that by Evet Ivri it goes to himself. He gets the money. By Amavriya it goes to her. It goes to herself.
Oh, she's now yes.
She could leave for many reasons. She could leave because of 6 years. She could leave because of Yovel. She could leave because of Simanim. She could leave because they redeemed her. So here it says that the money goes to herself. We'll see.
Even if she's not yet 12, even if she's still
and even if she's 12, the Allah is that even if she's 12, that should, okay, that's one more line. Okay. So far it says, good question. Here so far it says that every Ivri gets the money and the Amavriya gets the money. Here it does say that it goes to the father. Seems to be a contradiction. One Brisa says it goes to herself, one Brisa says it goes to her father. This also Brisa throws in the Mitziyasa that if she finds something, let's say she's in Amavriya, she's working by somebody, she has a father, she has a master, and she finds something. Who does the finding go to? We know that usually the daughter's finding goes to the father. Here she has a master. Maybe the finding goes to the master. So it says no, Mitziyasa also go to the father, even when she's working by somebody else. But if she finds something, the earnings go to the master, but findings go to the father. If she found something, so the master doesn't get it, the master's only going to get how much she was wasting his time on his time. She means that she's working, so she stopped in order to get the mitzvah. She found something on the floor. If it took time to pick it up, so then that's on his time. So she has to deduct from that. That goes to the father, but he gets how much he lost because she wasn't working at the time that she got the mitzvah. That's not our subject, really. We can put that in parentheses. Mitzvah is not our subject. In the Rabbi, is not our subject. We want to know the Hanukkah that Amavriya gets. Who does it go to? One Brisa says it goes to herself. One Brisa says it goes to the father. So the Gemara wants to revive now Rish Lakish. Rish Lakish, we just disproved them. We said that Misa Sa'av does not release him. But the Gemara thinks that maybe it says over here that Rish Lakish is right. My love, the Gemara thinks that the reason why it goes to herself is only because the father's not around. If the father's around, it goes to the father. One person says it goes to herself is because the father's not around. And the Gemara thinks that that says that she got freed because the father died. If the father sold her and he died, and now she goes free, so then it's not going to go to the brothers. Means the father lost his jurisdiction when he died, and therefore it goes to herself. And the brothers don't get it. But the Gemara thought that it says over here that Rish Lakish is right, that there is a releasing of the Amar Avriya when her father dies, because it talks about a case where the father's not around. The Gemara, by the way, says that you don't see anything. No, there's no such thing as the Amar Avriya leaving because the father died. Rish Lakish is wrong. We disproved him already. But it just means that the father, there's no father. Hello, Kasha. How do you say love? How do you say love? That it really didn't say anything. They only saw, again, Amar Avriya, it says one Bryce said that the father gets the money. The other Bryce says that she gets the money. The answer is simple. If there's no father, the father died. The father died when she was 10 years old. She has to wait it out another 2 years. And then when she leaves, the Maisa, who's going to get the money? She'll get it because the father's not around, and brothers don't get the rights that the father had. But you don't see that she left because of the father. It doesn't say that she left when she was 10 years old. It doesn't say that. So Rish Lakish is out of the picture, and we don't pass like Rish Lakish when her father dies. It does not release her from servitude to the master. But that is another question. She gets Hanaka. For whatever reason she gets Hanaka, who does it go to? If the father's around, it goes to the father. And if it's father's not, there's no father. The father died, so then it goes to herself. So that's the din of Hanaka. Amar Avriya gets Hanaka. If the father's around, it goes to the father. If there's no father around, then she gets it. Everyone's happy with that? I got this.
Obviously, even if she's not yet a Gedola, she's still on the 12.
I'm not sure why you say that. If she,
Because if
what
she's
do you
older
mean?
than later she gets it.
No, the father has rights to her monies until she's 12 and a half. And that's what it says, that if she goes out to Simanim and the father's around, the father gets it.
Oh,
Simanim means that she's a Gedol, not a Bulgaris. And that's when she leaves the master, but she's still under the jurisdiction of the father. So the father gets her monies until she's 12 and a half. So the father will get the money, but there's no father. The father died, so then the brothers don't get it, then she gets it. The Gemara goes back to the Brisa that said that Amar Avriya gets her Hanaka, and the Evidivri gets his. That's how the Brisa started today. Let's go back a couple of lines. We started Tani Chada, Anak Evidivri Latzmo, Anak Amar Avriya Latzmo. And we said that it means when the father's not around. Then Amar Avriya gets her own Hanaka, and it says Evidivri gets his Hanaka. And the Gemara has a difficulty with the Brisa that, of course, the Evidivri gets his Hanaka. Who else should get it? When the Brisa says that the Amar Avriya gets her own Hanaka, and it means the father's not around, what's the Chiddush? Because you might feel that the brothers get it. You might think when the father dies, the father has jurisdiction over his daughter, and you might think when he dies, the brothers get it. The brothers inherit their father's rights and findings and earnings. You might think that the brothers have a right to their sister's income. And Hanaka also, you might have thought it goes to the brother. So no, that's a Chiddush, that it doesn't go to the brother, and when the father dies, the brothers don't get any jurisdiction over their sister. The Tanya, it says, it says you do bequeath, you have Kanani to your Yorshim. Someone owes Ever Kanani, it's in this part of his estate, the way he owns animals, he owes an Ever Kanani also, and when he dies, his Yorshim inherited. But it says the word owes some. Them, Ever Kanani, you will bequeath to your children. But the fact that it says Osam Levnechem, you bequeath your Ever Kanani to your sons, but you don't bequeath your daughters to your sons, which means that even though a man has rights over his daughters, it doesn't mean that those rights get bequeathed to his sons. So the sons don't have any rights over their sisters. We can't say another more no. May I learn out that a person does not bequeath his rights to his daughter, the findings, the earnings, whatever he has on his daughter, it doesn't inherit that to his son. So that's a Chiddush. Now we know it, that they don't get the rights that the father had. As long as the father's alive, he gets the findings, the earnings, but once he dies, the sons don't have it, and she's on her own. She has independence once the father dies. That's a Chiddush. That Tanaka, even though the father dies, it doesn't go to the sons, it goes to herself. But the first part of the Brisa says that Anaka of David Ivri goes to himself. What's the Chiddush? Who else will get it? Ella, Anak Avidivri, this stands for Avidivri. Anak Avidivri, La'atzmo Pshita, Ella Laman. Who should it go to? Avidivri is a regular independent man. He sold himself, or Besdin sold him, and he gets Anaka when he leaves. So it says it goes to him. Well, of course, who should it go to? Rav Yosef. So this is a hard reading. Here it says, Rav Yosef said, Yud Keras Kachazina. I see a Yud cross. That's the answer. Yud cross. Yud cross Kachazina. I see here a Yud cross. So Rashi says Yud is the letter Yud, and Keras means a city. In English, we would say it's making like a mountain out of a molehill or something like that. It means it's a small thing like a Yud, and they made a big city out of it. That means that it's Takano Chiddush. It's not a very good expression in the Gemara, and it means that the kasha was that it's not a Chiddush, but it's not a Chiddush. It should, like I said, it said it for nothing. We would have said that Bechli Naka, that it says Kras is a city, like Kiryam.
Oh, Kiryam.
Kata de Shafraya. So Yud is a cross. He made a Yud into a city. He made a small thing into a big thing. Means he said a Chiddush that everybody gets his own. Yeah, of course everybody gets his own. Who else would get it? So it's not going to Chiddush. So if Yosef didn't see any Chiddush over here, Abaye Omar, there's a Chiddush. Hachiyam Rav Sheshes, Amani Tutoyu. That Sheshes said of Shat in this brisa, the author of this brisa is Tutoy. So I looked it up. There's only place in Shas where we find this this Tanya called Tutoy. The Tanya Tutoy Omer Lo V'Lo L'Bal Chovo. That Tutoy said, that's the name of the Tana. He said, Lo V'Lo L'Bal Chovo. It says Hanik Tanik Lo. Give him the present, not to his debtor. That means that creditor, the word is creditor, that if the Eved owes somebody money, so usually the din is that if Reuben owes Shimon and Shimon owes Levi, so Levi could collect from Reuben. So you might think over here also that the Hanaka, the Balchov, the creditor of the Eved Ivri, comes to the owner, the Balabais, that owes now Hanaka to the Eved Ivri. He says, I want to take it because you owe him and he owes me. So you say Shibuddha the Rav Nosson that Balchov, the Malbash of the Eved Ivri, should be able to collect the Hanaka. So he says no, lo v'lo Balchov. That the Balchov is no, even though usually there is a right to go to your Lobas Loba. Yeah, a couple of days ago, right? And he was saying that that's what the word is, that's what the Raisa means, that Hanaka of the Eved Ivri goes to himself, which means that nobody, that the Balchov can't come and grab it, intercept it, and take it straight from the Odom.
Any other assets, yes, but not
the Hanaka. Okay, we got onto a tangent. Now we're going on to a tangent more. We're talking about the din of Hanaka. Hanaka again, Parshas Reid, that it says when you send away Eved Ivri or Mavriya, so you're supposed to give them a present. Kufa, Elu Manikim Lahem. It says in the Brisa before that the following people, following Abadim and Amariya, we give the present. And Rashi before quoted what the Gemara is going to say now. The Brisa is going to say now that in the count before, you had a count. There are 4, 3 by a man, 3 by a woman, and they're not common. They have 2 common ones and 2 not common ones. And the other Brisa said that there are 4. This is all going to be this Brisa now that talks about who gets Hanaka and who does not. And really, the ones that do get is not the Chiddush. The Chiddush is going to be the ones that maybe don't get. Every should get every for whatever reason he's leaving Amariya. And here it says that some don't. The following Avadim, we give them the present. Ayotze b'shanim, u'v'yobel, u'v'misas adam, 3. That means if someone leaves because 6 years are up, or Yovel came, or his master died, these are all Eved that they leave when they get released by these 3 things. Amariya also b'simanim. When there's a 4th way that Amariya will leave if she becomes a Gedola. So they get Hanaka. Before the Gemara talks about this Brisa, it doesn't say, this is the Brisa that was the clincher at the end, that it doesn't say Misas Av. This was the proof against Rish Lakish that Misas Av does not release her. Or else it should have said Misas Av also. So that's good. We already disproved Rish Lakish. Here it says that all these are Vadim and the Emam Mavriya, they get Hanaka when they leave. What's the point? This is the real point I want to get to now. If someone ran away, David Ivri ran away. He escaped his master. So he doesn't get a present. And we say, of course he doesn't get a present. He ran away, he wants to get a present also. So the Gemara's going to talk about it. Boreach, an escapee.
Oh.
So David Ivri was supposed to work for 6 years. He didn't work, he ran away. And then he comes back for the present. So it doesn't make sense at this point. The Gemara's going to talk about it. And also, Yotze B'Garon Kesef means that if he redeemed himself, there's a way to get out by redeeming himself, that he has a couple of years to work and he found the money, and he pays the money and he redeems himself. So then you don't have to give him a present. He redeemed himself, he paid up for the difference that he didn't work yet. He worked whatever, 2 years, and now he pays up the extra 4 years, but you don't give him the present.
Why does it say Aval Borei?
Because that's that a list of people that do. It says, Elu Anikim Lam, 1, 2, 3, 4, but Bareach now. Yotze B'Garon Kesef, Ein Manikim Lam. That's Tanakama. the Tanna Kamma says that both the Boreach and also if he left because he deducted the money, he paid the difference of how much he didn't work yet, they don't get the present. But Meir Omer, I'm gonna make it a little smaller.
Because he didn't stay his full stay, and he paid him.
He redeemed. He got money to redeem himself. Whatever money he didn't work yet, he has another couple of years to work. He paid how much it is.
He's not worthy of a mana.
He doesn't get a money. He might have said yes, like why not? Like he worked whatever he worked, he should get. But no. But Yosef Begerin Kesef on Dikim Lo. Everybody agrees that the Berech doesn't get. That he agrees to. Even Rabbi agrees to that. But he doesn't argue on the Yosef Begerin Kesef that if he redeemed himself with the remaining money that's owed, so then he does get a present. So that's the machlokas. Reb Shimon seems to hold like Tanna Kamma. Reb Shimon Omer Arba Mandikim Lohem. This Bryce also was brought before, and then we'll try to figure out if it says Misas Abba over here. That was also brought down earlier, but it doesn't say what they are. It just says there are four. Shlosha b'ish, shlosha b'isha. So it's a little vague, but Rabbi Shimon seems to say that they're two of them are common, and two of them are not common. That's why altogether you have four, because and the Gemara came out before. The question was what he meant to say. The Gemara came out that he counts Yovel as two. There's a Shanim, and then there's Yovel of leaving before 6 years, and then he says that there's by a Nirtzah, there's also going to be by a man, there's going to be a Nirtzah, and the Gemara says that it means that he leaves Yovel, that's counted as a third one. By a woman, you don't have that because she's not a Nirtzah, and you have Simona by a woman, that's the third one by a woman, and you don't have four by either one. And the Gemara has said before that you have to learn this step shot because Misa Sa'adon, you could have said Misa Sa'adon. The truth is you could have said Misa Sa'adon, but then it would be a common by a man and a woman because both of them leave a Misa Sa'adon, and the Gemara said it must be that he's not counting it because it's Davar She'en Lo Kitzvah. It's not a definitely going to happen. So therefore, doesn't this Misa Sa'adon? Misa Sa'adon would be another case where he also would get Hanaka. L'chor Misa Sa'adon means from the Yerusha they're going to give to the Eved or to the Amma, they're going to give also Hanaka. And the Gemara will try to be Medaik, it doesn't say Misa Sa'ah, but the Gemara said that's not a right because it doesn't say Misa Sa'adon either. Anyway, Rabbi Shimon, the point is that he also leaves out Boreach and Yosef Begir and Kesef. So the Kesef was negated to us is that Rabbi Shimon holds like the Tanna Kamma. Everybody holds that a Boreach doesn't get Hanaka. Machlokes between Tanna Kamma and Rabbi Shimon are on the same side against Rabbi Meir. Tanna Kamma and Rabbi Shimon seem to say that they don't get the Boreach and the Yosef Begir and Kesef does not get a present. Rabbi Meir says that a Yosef Begir and Kesef does get a present.
It seems like he's doing a kosher thing. He's not like.
Yeah, no one says it's not kosher, that the Barech is not kosher, but the one who is pretty small, I'm sorry, but we'll get there soon. So what's the source for each one? What's the source about not getting for Bareach, not getting for Ger and Kesef? What is going to be the source about that? You might think the pasuk when it says in Re'eh about Hanaka, Taka only says if someone leaves the work 6 years. I'll just read the pasuk. It says, so then he goes free in the 7th year, and then don't send him empty-handed. So the pasuk only talks openly about the 6-year man. So you might think that only one who works for 6 years he gets Tanaka. How do you know? How about the other ways of leaving? What if they left because Yobel came, or because the master died, or because the Amavir became a Gedola? How do you know they're also deserving of the present? It says a couple of times extra words that it says when you send them, so it means anyway that you send them. Anyway, sending him away, no matter what it's going to be, not for the 6 years, also Yovel, also if the master died, also because Amavir became a Gedola, all these ways, you also give the present.
The key to Shachan.
It's a one pasuk is Shalchenu. Maybe it has on the side. It's also a pasuk. Yes, two psukim. Maybe we can find it. If it has it over here. I never know which side to look on. Yeah, here they have it. Okay, here it is. Well, let's make it big to be able to see it. Here it is. Ki Yemocher. L'cha achicha avi oev yaba batcha sheish shanim uvashana shviyis tishalachenu chavshim meimach techisa shalachenu chavshim meimach. So it has there closer shalachenu rekam. It says a few times. It says in the 7th year you should send him free from yourself, and when you send him free from yourself, Don't send him empty. Okay, so that's the pasuk where it says extra times kisa shalchenu. So we learn now not only the sheishanim that it says openly, that it says the one thing that it does say sheishanim. So these are the words. The shalchenu, the kisa shalchenu teaches you that even if you send him away for other reasons, also he gets anaka. Bottom of the page. Yachol shani marba b'rech v'yosef b'gerin kesef. You might think that I'm also going to include even if he runs away, which we have to still figure out what his runaway is. And if he redeems himself, you might think that he's also deserving of this present. Talmud lomar v'chisa shalchenu chavshim meimach.
What's the question? We already spoke about this too.
No, we spoke about the Bryce, and now we're talking about the reasons, the source. We said the facts, now we're talking about the source. So that this Bryce is going to say that the source that you know that the Borech and the Yosef Gerim Kesef don't get Anaka. We just said that Rameir said that Tanakama says they don't get it. Rameir says that the Gerim Kesef does get it, but we didn't say the source. This Bryce is saying the source. The source. So it says that you learn out that now the pasuk openly only says about Sheish. So you have to have a pasuk to say that even not Sheish, even other reasons also. Yobel, Misa Sa'adono, Simonim. But you might think that even the Boreach, the fugitive, one who runs away, and the Yosef Begeron Kesef, you might think they also are deserving of the Hanak. But Talmud Loma, which the Gemara stresses the word Meimach, that you send him free from you. Misha Shilucho Meimach, only if you're sending him away. That's not called that you sent him away. The Boreach showed you didn't send him away, he ran away. And that he redeems himself. He redeems himself with the rest of the money that he's owed. So he bought himself out. It's from himself. He did it. You didn't send him away. The next word is going to say that Rameir says you did send him away. So I don't know Rameir Omer. That abbreviation is Rameir Omer. But I'm asking to that part. That if he ran away, so you didn't send him away. He ran away. But Avol Yod say yes, they stick in the words manikim lo sheshilucha meimach. That it is called that you sent him away. So it seems to be strange. Tanakama looks at the same pasuk. Everyone looks at the same pasuk. How you look at it? That on one hand he paid himself, he bought himself out. On the second hand,
he bought himself out. Once he bought himself out, he was sent away by the guy.
So is that the way you look at it? That it is called you sending him away.
That's how we learn of day. Day is that he does something.
He does something.
He's doing something, but he must his initiative. So
Rashi says shilucha meimach according to Rameir she'em ekabel givonim b'shalcha, that you do accept the difference. You accept the difference and you send him away. So Tanakama says that's not called you sent him away. He bought himself out. And Rameir says it is called sending him away. So I guess there's probably more to say over there, but that was my focus in the pasuk. If that comes to exclude also Yosef Begeron Kesef. But everybody agreed that Boreach is not called you sent him away. He ran away, and therefore he does not get Hanaka. And the question is staring us in the face. He ran away and he comes back for a present. Like, what's that all about? So the Gemara asked even stronger. Boreach Hashlama boy. He has to finish up. It means he got him back. This Boreach, he comes back to get his presents. so now you tell him you got to finish. You got to finish work. He has to complete. He has to complete his. He has to be mashlim. He has to complete. He ran away after 4 years. And now he comes back afterwards. He wants his friends. So you say you have to pay me another. You have to work another 2 years. Get your working clothing. Put on your working clothing. He has to finish up. And then Rashi points out, and when he does finish, he does get a present. I would have thought that. I would have thought that if he ran away, what do they call bad conduct? In the jail over there, if he ran away, they're probably going to keep him even longer. But he also got a present also. So I would have thought that if he ran away, even if he came back or you caught him and he finished his work, he also not deserving of a present at the end. But Rashi says no, that if he's going to finish his work at the end, so then he should get a present.
Tshuva. You see, tshuva works.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking that's some kind of.
Rashi says in the bottom, the bottom Rashi, Hashlam Sheish, he has to finish up the 6 years. When he finishes, so he worked 6, so he should get the present. So what's the case? He doesn't get a present. If he didn't work, of course, he has to finish working. And if he finished working, so why should he not get a present? That's how Rashi puts the question.
You know what he's asking a rhetorical question. Why would he not get it?
It's not a rhetorical question. He's saying, what's the case? The Bryce says he doesn't get. The Bryce says he doesn't get.
Oh, the Bryce says not to do?
It says a couple of times. You were happy with that.
No, because he didn't reach Mashlim. Now he's Mashlim.
No, so if he's not Mashlim, so of course he doesn't get a present. He has to be, not only doesn't get a present, he has to be Mashlim. He didn't work 6 years. And if he did work 6 years,
and if he does work,
even Bafsakot, he ran away and he got him back and then he finished working, so he should get.
Yeah, he does.
The Bryce says he doesn't get. What's the case that he doesn't get?
When he
Fine.
doesn't pay machine,
So of course it has nothing.
that's not a finish.
You don't talk about not getting a present. You say finish working. Talmud Lomash, we are holding. First the Gemara has to prove that he has to finish working. Why is that a finish? You might have thought he doesn't have to finish working because time's up. He says time's up. I ran away. 6 years over. 6 years over, and time's up. So maybe I did wrong, but my time is up. Say no. He has to
You're
finish.
saying, what, after 6 years he ran away?
No, during the 6 years he
During
ran
the
away.
year.
After 6 years, why should he run away? He finished.
Yeah.
But during the 6 years, he ran away. And you might think that when the clock is over, he comes back and the other one says, okay, you got to finish. You might think that he
He
could
said
say,
6 years is over.
6
I see
years.
what you're saying.
he didn't work for 6 years, but 6 years is
Ran away
over.
after 2 years and he comes back after 6 years to collect the gift.
So besides, like the Rice is going to say that he have to work. And it's a Chiddush after work. You might have thought,
Yeah.
we'll see in a second, that maybe it's a Chiddush after work. You might say time is over.
Or maybe it's a
Who
canal.
would want
Maybe
it?
they look at it as
Who
a,
would want to, they wouldn't have taken him for the next time around.
if it's for us canal.
Right now, he says
I say he owes him. The fact that he owes him, so he has to pay.
he has to finish working.
Okay.
Tanya, in line with how do you know that if somebody ran away, if he ran away, he has to finish up whatever he missed? You got to work 6 years. He didn't work 6 years.
And he wrote a stein in the beginning. We learned that yesterday. Every day he has to write a stein. Don writes a stein.
It is true. That's one of the ways to acquire him, but there's nothing to do with it. He has to write a star.
Yeah, but there's a proof. He has a stein.
Yes, proof anyway. It's not the point. The point is that the point is not to prove it. The point is if it's Nikna Bekesef also. We know the point is not here to prove it. The point is that he owes him. Now another question. How about if he got sick? New question. Every day he got sick. So he has to get paid for that, or he has to finish up. Sick leave. What does it mean? Paid
Do
leave,
that in
paid.
the government today. They give people sick leave.
And how about down the
I
government?
thought that
So-
I
the-
mean,
I
I'm
thought the
saying
owner has to pay
the
the
Chukei de Medina.
the bills.
What do you mean?
Okay.
If he gets sick, I thought that the owner has to pay the master has to pay
I
the
don't- I don't know.
bills.
I didn't know that.
Every evening?
Yeah, isn't it?
I thought he's fired.
10 years.
I don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, it talks about if he has to finish their work. He was sick for a year. He wasn't able to work. And then the 6 years over, but he missed a year in between that he was sick. So Talmud Loma Ubashviyis Yitzay. The Pasuk says he leaves in the 7th year. It means the Gemara is in the drasha world, the Gemara is 2 points. One says he should work 6 years, and the 7th year he should leave. The Pasuk says he works 6 years. That means if he didn't work, he has to finish working the whole 6 years. The other Pasuk says he's leaving the 7th. That means the 7th year comes on the calendar, it comes 7th. Even if it didn't work, he leaves on the 7th. So here more dashins that by a sick man, we're going to say Bashviyas Yitzay, even though he missed work. He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to continue it, and then he got sick leave and
So
paid.
a feeling
That means
here
that
means that he would have to make up.
you might think he has to be mashlim. He has to fill it up, even if he's sick. No, but Shviyas Yitzay.
Does he get him on that? Sick man. After missing a year.
I don't remember that the Gemara talks about it, but I think so. Unless the Gemara,
Unless he
maybe
was
the Gemara is
sick
going to
all-
talk about it. The
Unless
Gemara is
he
going
was
to talk
sick
about
all
it.
6
What
years.
he said, all 6 years, the Gemara is going to talk about all that. But here it says the difference between Boreach and Chala. If he ran away or he got sick, and all the Gemara is only bringing it over here because the Gemara wants to show that the Boreach has to be mashlim. So that was the kasha. What's the case that the Boreach doesn't get anaka? He has to even finish working, and then he should get anaka. Rav Shesha, Sachar my skin, that he ran away. Now the question is, what happened after that? Did he come back? Let's say a simple pshat.
Upagabi yoga.
Yovel happened.
Right, that means it says, after, whatever, 6 years passed. And Yovel came.
Now he ran away. So Rashi seems to say that he didn't come back. He ran away, and then Yovel came. And then he comes for his present. He says, Shalom Aleichem, nice to see you. So he says, I got my present. So what kind of present? You ran away. He says, no, but Yovel came. So I would have left even if I would have been working, I would have left.
He's saying make up your time.
Make up, yeah, second make up time. I'm over. Yovel came. So he wants to get a present also. You could say a little different that he came back and he did continue to work, but he left out a year in between. He ran away for a year, came back, and then Yovel
A
came.
month after came, he didn't make up
Right.
the whole year, now you have
Right.
1 month.
He would have finished up, but now Yovel stopped it.
But I
And now the
understand
question
better.
is, so but Rashi, that's what Mechabusa said, but Rashi seems to say that he didn't come back, because Yovel came, and he might think that he gets a present. Since Yovel took him out, so that's called that you sent him away, the same way Yovel would have sent him away. So below Niknasei, the non-Niknasei, you might think he deserves a present. We're not going to give a knas because he ran away, because the Maisi Yovel came. Niknasei is a knas. We'll penalize him. You might think we won't penalize him and let's give him the present, the non-Niknasei. That since he ran away, we don't give him.
What does it mean? Shluchim mi'amach krinan?
That's the first. That's the bottom of the page. It's also over there. And the Gemara says they don't give a present when you send him away. When you send him away, and you might think this is called you sent him away because Yovel came. Whenever Yovel comes, it's called that you sent him away. He didn't just leave. Here also, the Maisa, the Makav Patish, the reason why he left is because Yovel came. It's true, he ran away. But then the Maisa Yovel came. Make it even easier. He ran away, and then he came back, and then Yovel came. So you sent him away because of Yovel. So you might think that he deserves to get the present because he didn't finish full 6 years, but he did come back to work. And the reason why he's leaving now is because of Yovel. So you might think he gets a present. Kamash Malan, he doesn't get a present.
That's the reason he came back now.
But I thought we were
Kamash
talking about.
Malan,
The
we were
reason he
talking
came back
about-
now is so that he can go.
I thought we were talking
And
about
get
making making up the time.
so he does have to make up the time, but Yovel came, he doesn't have to.
But where are we getting the non-eating? We have.
We want to know
psukim,
about
I
mana. Yeah, that's about, that was about Hashlama. The two psukim was talking about does he have to finish or not.
And
So
this is
what,
Haki b'mayim skin.
that's going back to the Kasha again. The Kasha,
Oh.
let's
I mean,
go.
Amar Rav Sheshes has
let's-
nothing to do with.
Let's,
that place. It's a Tanya, and that was
the Tanya Menayel Reach Shachav Lashon. I'm going to put this in parentheses just for convenience, that this is not negated to us. This thing about Chol is not our subject right now. Where is that? This one.
Oh, I see.
It's going to be true, but it's not our subject right now. We just want to have the brisa that says that a barech has to finish the service. So back to the kasha, at the bottom of the page was, what's the case that it says he doesn't get anaka? He has to finish working, like it says in the brisa. Barech hayv lashtem, it says sheishanim yavod. So the kasha is, what's the case that the barech doesn't get anaka? Of course he doesn't get anaka. He has to finish working. He didn't finish working. The answer is that Yovel came. Rav Sheshes, the answer to the kasha is that Yovel came. And therefore, you might think that's called that he did leave because of you. You sent him away because of Yovel. And even though he ran away in between, but maybe he does deserve a Hanaka because he left because of Yovel. Kamash Malan, that since he ran away and he didn't finish,
We do give him.
you do give him a Knasa, you don't get the present.
I was thinking class. Class is surely the reason because he did a avla.
The question was that he has to finish working. So then, even if he did an Avla, he's still going to get the Hanaka. If the Gemara comes out, like Rashi says, if he worked for 4 years and then ran away for a year and then came back and finished another 2 years, he does get the present, even though he had bad behavior during the time. The bad behavior is not going to tell him that he doesn't get the Hanaka because the Maisi worked the full 6 years. But if he didn't work the full 6 years because Yovel came, then we're going to say that you were missing. You didn't work, so then you're not going to get the Hanaka. He doesn't work anymore. He doesn't finish working. But because Yovel came.
We call it class.
Right. But the Knas is not Rabbanan. That's a Torah's Knas.
What's the talking?
I didn't even know why you call it knas. He doesn't get his benefits.
Okay. It doesn't deserve the
The bonus.
doesn't deserve the bonus. Okay. Now we go back into the parentheses.
Not
Parentheses.
getting the bonus is a penalty.
I would say the opposite. Getting a bonus is a privilege. And you lose. Okay, the Gemara says like you, but I don't understand why.
So we're going back to the parentheses now that it said that if he was sick, he wasn't able to work during the 6 years because he was sick. So here it says that he doesn't make it up. He does. It comes the calendar date. It's 6 years since the anniversary since I came in, so I leave. And he doesn't have to make up the work. And now the Gemara is going to say it's not so simple. Amamar. The master said, the Bryce said before, and the Gemara explains, it sounds like even if he was sick all 6 years. I don't know how you know that. But the Gemara sees in the Brisa that even if he would theoretically be sick all 6 years, as soon as he bought him, he became sick and wasn't able to do any work at all. And when the 7th year comes, he leaves. He doesn't have to finish. The guy paid good money for 6 years. And he wasn't able to work the whole 6 years because he was sick. And he does.
That's a question too, right?
So far, it's not a question. So far, it's just a derivation. The Brisa says that he doesn't have to go back if he was
We
sick.
assume it means
And it seems, so
all
even if it was all
circumstances.
6 years, and for some reason, maybe the Bryce says so, or it's a diak in the Bryce, yes.
What did it fit me on? I was asking that at the end of the second Bryce, it says Kol Sheish Chayv Lashlim.
Right, but it means that you see in the first Bryce that it's a filo chala kol sheish. The Gemara is putting it as if the Bryce says so. You could have said the Bryce doesn't say that. It doesn't mean all sheish. But the
Doesn't say
Gemara,
anything, it just says.
okay, so it says, since it doesn't say anything, so it means a definite
I thought it
statement.
was like a question though, because of the Hatanya, usually the Hatanya either can be a proof or it can be a.
Right, so it's going to be a kasha, but it's only based on the kasha is going to be because this Bryce.
As a question before we get the kasha. don't we?
Yes, true, but that means that this Bryce means even if it was all 6 years sick, next Bryce is going to say if he was sick all 6 years not, and the answer is going to we have to answer the kasha. It's a contradiction.
Okay.
The Gemara is not just going to say that no, you made a mistake. It's not a filo kol change. So the first Bryce says a definite thing, absolute, that even if he was sick, he doesn't have to finish, he doesn't have to complete his work after he gets better. And even if he would have been sick all 6 years, it's mashma. But Tanya, we looked at the Bryce differently. If he was sick for 3 years, but he did work 3 years, then he doesn't have to complete it. But but if he was sick, everything, he didn't work at all, so then he does have to complete. And the first Bryce seems to say, but it doesn't say beferish, but it seems to imply that even in the case of Cholakol Sheish, also he does not have to complete the work. So contradiction in Bryces. This Bryce alone also has to have explanation because it says a big jump. It talks about 3 and all 6. It doesn't talk about 4 or 5. It does, okay, we'll get to that. But we're talking about Cholakol Sheish right now. So the first Bryce is mashma that even in a Cholakol Sheish, he was sick all 6 years. He doesn't have to complete it, and he goes free. And the other Bryce is mashma that if he was sick all the 6 years, he does have to work for 6 years. I'm not sheshes. If he's able to do some kind of minimal work, ma'asamachat means like sewing, and he wasn't able to be a big, eved that straps boxes and works in the field, but he's able to do something. So he's saying that the brisa that says that Cholakol Sheish he has to complete is he didn't do anything. He wasn't able to do anything. He wasn't even able to do sewing. So then he didn't work at all. He didn't work at all. So then he didn't start even. Then he has to be mashlim. But the brisa that says in the beginning that even if it was Bikol Sheish, he would leave. That means that he doesn't have to complete. Was that he did something? He didn't do the real work.
I'm sorry, but Osa Maisa means the Dashlim. What is Rosh Hashanah saying?
The Osa Maisa Machad. The brisa that says, the second brisa, the first brisa that says that even if he's sick all 6 years, he goes free, and he doesn't, 7th year he goes free, and he doesn't have to make up what he lost, is because he was doing something. He was doing a Maisa Machad. At least he was doing a Maisa Machad. For 6 years, he wasn't able to slap boxes. He wasn't able to plow the field, but he was able to sew. So he was doing something, he gave some kind of a service. So that kind of service is enough that he doesn't have to make it up, even though he didn't do the heavy work even all 6 years. But he did something. He did some small work. That's the case of the first Bryce. The second Bryce is talking about that he didn't work at all. He wasn't able to do anything. He was sick in bed. So then, if he was sick all 6 years, then he has to complete. He has to start again. He has to work because he didn't work anything. But if he worked something, even though it's a much lesser work than he was expected to, then even if he was sick all 6 years, he doesn't have to be mashlim. Is that good?
And
We have to
manak,
have
Yeah.
to the manak.
It's not talking about the manak over here.
Oh, there's no in.
It could be right that if he gets a
Seems like
manak also, but
it's-
the Gemara is not talking about it. The Gemara is talking about if he has to be mashlim. And otherwise, the question the rest of the Dagaf spoke about 3 and 3, he doesn't have to finish. If he was sick all 6 years, which was saying means he didn't work at all, then he does have to. And there's a kasha, and there's the diak of the brisa, not gufa kasha. The brisa seems to be inherently contradicting.
the
The
deer.
diak of each side, right? It says the case of 3 and 3. That's the case where he doesn't have to. It sounds like he worked at least 3, but what if he was sick for 4 years? That means he didn't even do 3, he didn't even do half. So that's mashma. The Bryce said that since he didn't give a more extreme example, it's mashma. In that case, he would have to pay. He would have to fill in what he lost out. Only if he did at least half. He did 3 years out of 6. So then he say that he doesn't have to. But then the Bryce says, the next word says, The price was extreme the other way. The case that he had to fill in the rest, he has to make up the rest, is in a case where he didn't work at all. How about if he would have been sick for 4 years? Mashma not. So there's a contradiction in the Brisa itself. We're talking about not working at all, not even Maisa Machad. We said Maisa Machad, that's the first Brisa. So then he does not have to finish, even if he was sick all 6 years. But now we're getting in the case where he wasn't able to in bed, he wasn't able to do anything. And the Brisa says if he worked 3, he was sick for 3 years, and he worked 3, so then he doesn't have to be Mashma. Then it says if he was sick all 6, then he does have to work more. But the deal could have everything in between. If he was sick most of the 6 years. The Gemara takes the deal of the Reisha's right. The Reisha's true. That if he has to at least have worked 3 years. If he worked at least 3 years,
150%.
that's what it sounds like. That's as if. It's considered as if. And then once he didn't work, once he was sick, more than half, so then he it's considered like he was sick the whole time. Whatever it did, at least sick the whole time, and then he does have to be Muslim. So it comes out, just to sum it up.
So it has to do with how much he works, not how much he was. More than half, then it's called Homer.
If he worked more than half, then he
Called
doesn't have to.
Homer.
Then he doesn't have to be Muslim. Then he doesn't have. Then he doesn't have to make it up. Even if he was sick the whole time, even all 6 years, the most extreme case. If he was working, not at all. If he wasn't working when he was sick, he wasn't working at all. So if he worked half of the time, so then he doesn't have to complete whatever he was sick for, even though he didn't do anything at that time. But if he was sick most of the time, more than 3 years, so then
And not doing anything.
not doing anything,
And he
so
doesn't do
then he does have to make up what he missed,
All 4 years, or whatever.
whatever he missed.
whatever he missed.
Taisus points out that it could be that I didn't see the whole Taisus, but at one point Taisus says it could be that it doesn't have to do dafka with half the time. It could be has to do dafka over here that is called Mishneh Sachar Sachir, but and the Pasuk calls it that he worked double. A regular Sachir in those days was a 3-year job. But 2 people would become a Sachir, nowadays
What?
a Sachir. And people would
Was
be
extremely. I
what?
thought I heard you say extremely something. A Sachir, okay, say it again.
We have to listen
Back in those days.
back in those days, people used to work a 3-year job. They would become a hired worker for 3 years. And the pasuk, when it says that Eved Ivri, he worked 6 years, it says Mishnes Chasachir. He worked for you double of what a regular worker does. He worked 6 years. As far as there's not a pasuk also says Kishnei Sachir, Shalosh Shanim Kishnei Sachir.
It's understandable. Like today, usually it's a 1-year contract for a teacher. Then you have a 3-year contract for a teacher.
Okay, and this was considered a Sachir, and now Eved Ivri is a Mishnes Chasachir. So Taisa says here that the 3 years is not dafka because it's half of the full job. It could be dafka over here because
That's normal.
it's a right. He did one job. He did like one of the 2 jobs. It's like a double. It's like you buy one and get the other one for free kind of thing, like something like that. That he did at least one job. So that an application, Taisa wants to know if this applies to other cases also. So the case of challah, I don't know how it applies nowadays. We have here Eved Ivri. Does come up when so you say government, all these things are contracts nowadays. How many sick days does he get? And it may be that's this many days you can get paid for sick leave, and more than that, even if it's not your fault, but we're not going to pay you for that. So this is nowadays these are contracts. A lot of questions.
Different. This is you bought him already for this year. You paid him already. But if you hire someone to work and he doesn't work, it's much less reason to pay him.
But I think nowadays it'll be the same thing, even if you hired him and then he wasn't able to work. So they'll say the same thing that these many days. Before everything's in the contract nowadays.
If it's a
I imagine
If
everything's in the contract.
I hire someone to play a wedding, and the guy doesn't, I don't know, he's sneak shift, he can't come play. So he gets paid for playing by the wedding. It's a big Kiddush.
But that's a couple of notes. That's not, you're not paying him for the time. You're paying him for that job. He didn't do the job. They were talking about that he's a hired worker for a certain amount of time, and he's not able to do all those days. The big questions came up during Corona that people weren't able to work. Nobody could work. They weren't able to go to his house. He couldn't come to. So they had a lot of questions about
The
their
payment
payment over there.
for
Yeah.
schools.
So there were questions over there. I don't know if it has relative to Agumar, but here it talks about sick leave over here. So it says in the pasuk, now we're opening the sugya about Hanukkah. There's a din to give a present when the Eved Ivri Amavriya leaves. How much are you supposed to give? The pasuk says, it gives three examples why you're supposed to give him from your sheep, from your silo, and from your vat, the wine. So it says sheep, grain, and wine. Doesn't say that. It says doesn't say tirosh. Yeker. Garnacha, yikvecha. Goren is the granary, and Yekev is the vat, which means the wine.
And it's on.
So, Tana Rabbanan. I think more going to say later on, bottom of the page, it doesn't have to be after these three things. We'll see. Tana Rabbanan. How much are you supposed to give? How much? How much value are you supposed to give in the present? So it's going to be machlokas. Chamesh lam mikol minu min, shein chamesh yasur Islam, div Rab Meir. Meir says altogether 15 from each min. It says 3 minim, 5 from each. 5 times 3, 15. So the sum total is supposed to be 15.
The three are the.
They go Son, Goren, Yekin. Then he's going to learn now that each one, the minimum is 5. So altogether is 15. He made the cheshbon for you. 5 times 3. He doesn't talk about the 3. He just talks about the sum total. Shloshim shaleved. That when someone kills Eved Kanani, right? The ox killed Eved Kanani, so the payment is 30 selah, and that's the price of that's the amount of money you have to give for the Eved Ivri Zanaka. What's the connection? It's going to be a Gzer Shabbat. The Sforah doesn't say anything about it. There's Eved Kanani that a Gak scored him. What does that have to do with giving a present to an Eved Ivri? So the Gemara is going to make a drasha. But he says the amount of money is supposed to be 30 selah. That's
instead of 15.
Instead of 15. Double. That was Rabbi Yehuda. Rabbi Shimon Omer Chamishim, 50 selah. The same way you find by Erchin that if somebody says Erki Olai or Erich somebody, so it says that if he's between 20 and 60, so the price of Erchin is 50 selah. It doesn't say the reasons. No one explains themselves. How do you know 5 times 3? How do you know 30? How do you know 50? Now the Gemara is going to explain. We just finished the brisa. Before we get to where he got it from, the Gemara is just interested. Why does he have to tell you
how much it is?
3 times 5 is 15?
I don't know.
Minyana, how does it say? He's telling you how to count. He should say 15. Well, he should say 3 times 5. What does he say? 3 times 5 is 15.
Yeah, the equal amount.
What's the equal amount?
The amount of money on each one of the 3 items.
In the following,
you want to learn the 5, 5, and 5 as opposed to 15 because you want to know that they give equal value.
So don't say 15. Just say Chamesh Islam. Everybody knows Torah says 3 meaning, and it says 5 from each. So figure out that it's 15. Why does he do the math for you? You're saying that he has to say 5 times 3, but he doesn't have to say 15. Hakamash Malan, Mifsa Udalo Mifsa Leimaminyan. Yes, it means less.
It could be that he's missing one of the types. He just has no grants. Let's say he's only left with 2 of the 3 minimum.
The Gemara says a little different. The Gemara says a little different. The Gemara says you can't give less than the sum total. If he gives more of one and less than the other, it's okay also. Means he has to give him all 3. We'll see it later on if he has to give after these 3 minim. But even though it seems that he should give from each min, as long as sum total he gives 15, even though he gave more of one and less of the other.
What's the last number?
There's no problem. We don't care about it.
Oh.
15, it has 3 times 5, it has to be 15. The way you learn it now is from the 2 times the 15, 3 times 5. But the mice you don't have to give 3 times 5, you can give 15. I think the Gemara is going to say later on that you don't have to give these 3 things nafka, so we'll see, go back to Meir here. But he learns that the drush is 3 times 5. And
that's why he gave both.
That's why he says
15 and 3.
The way he learns it out is 3 times 5. But the mice you don't have to give 3 times 5, you can give 15.
15
of any one of the meaning. The Gemara is going to say later on, right? Maybe anything we'll see soon. My time with the Rav Meir. Where does he get 5? Where do you get 5 from? 3 it says. 3 meaning. So on, like that. How do you get 5? Yalaf Rekom Rekom Bechor. He has Gzer Shavah that it says Rekom. By Bechor it also says give the Bechor Benachot Titani.
Did you say where does he get 5?
Yes.
5 what?
5 Selah.
Where does he get 5? Okay.
Gzer Shavah Rekom Rekom. Here it says Rekom. Los Shalchenu Rekom Eimach. When you send away your Kanani, Eved Ivri, don't send them empty. Another place it says also, Pidyon Aben, pay the Pidyon Aben, don't come empty. So over there, man, don't come empty, give 5 slot. But
Where did
before.
it say give 5?
So let's look at the pasuk over here.
What is Bechor?
By before. Here it is. Shmos Lamadam and Chaf. Petach Hamotiv Debese, the most of them are after. Call, here it is. Call Bechor Benachat of Debelo Yero Panai Rekam.
The Bechor, we're talking about the
Your firstborn son. Your firstborn son.
son.
So you should, what's that?
Oh, 5 selling into the.
Right, to the Kohen. And the pasuk calls it, don't come empty handed. It is a strange pasuk
How do we
because
know that it's 5?
we know that a Bechor is son. That's not a pasuk that says, something. It says, so it says in the pasuk, you're supposed to give 5 seller for a Bechor.
To the Kohen.
And here it calls it, La Yirah Panai Rekam. You should redeem your firstborn, which you know
Somewhere
someplace
else
else.
we know that
That
it's
is it.
5, and there it says Rekam.
And here it says Rekam, so it means that that's called empty. You don't bring, if you don't bring the 5, it's called Rekam.
Okay, good.
And here it says, don't send them empty.
Rekam.
That's why America 3 times 5, because when it says Rekam, it means 5. Maybe it means some total 5. Don't send them away empty. From these 3, I mean, some total should be 5. Who says after each one you shouldn't send them empty? Maybe cumulative. That's the way to say it. 5 shouldn't say less than 5.
Accumulative.
If it would have said after it says give the present of then it says don't send them Rekam. It would have said Rekam at the end. After it says the presents, then it would have said don't send them Rekam. Then you're right, but it doesn't say like that. First it says don't send them empty. Give him Tzon, Goren, Yekeb. So that's mashma that it shouldn't be Rekam on each one. Now that it says Rekam in the beginning, Shadi, the word Shadi means to throw. Shadi Rekam Atzon, Rekam Agoren, Rekam Yekeb. So then he's saying on each one, don't send them empty from this, don't send them empty from this, don't send them empty from this. So each one has to have 5. So he has to have a sum of 15, because it says in each one he shouldn't be less than 5.
What's the throwing idea? What's going on?
It says in the pasuk, don't send him away empty. Give him from your sheep, from your granary, and from your bed. So it's mashma that the word Rekam is going on each one. Don't send them empty from your sheep. Don't send them empty from your granary. Don't send them empty from your bed. So it means each one has to be not less than 5.
We're saying that maybe it's chasir in one of them.
We didn't say that. Yes, the kasha. Who says that? The kasha was after Rekam is 5. Who says that each one has to be not less than 5? Maybe altogether shouldn't be less than 5. That was the kasha. Maybe when the pasuk says don't send less than 5, it means some total shouldn't be less than 5. How come you're saying it shouldn't be less from each one? The answer is because it says Rekam in the beginning. Don't send him away Rekam. Give him from your Tzon, Goren, and Yekeb. So it means each one shouldn't be Rekam. Tomorrow's another kasha. The name of Rekam by all this Shriya. We find the word Rekam someplace else. So by all this Shriya, it says also, how does it say famous pasuk? The pasuk we say by Yantif always.
You shouldn't come.
Don't come. You shouldn't come to the base of Mikdash. You shouldn't see.
And there can be a mashabu. What can it be?
Right? No, the two kesef. Over there says all three has to be 2 kesef. There's a certain minimum
kesef?
that two seller, right? 2 kesef. Whatever the sellers over there.
No,
but it says 2 kesef.
whatever Hashem has.
That's supposed to give more, but minimum is 2 kesef. So the word Rekam over there is. If you have a choice, if Rekam means 2 or it means 5, we'll say that it means 5.
Where's the word larger?
It doesn't say, that's my translation. It says Hashem Barach Hashem
You should
Eloheinu.
have largesse. Largesse
I like
in
that. I like the
French.
sound of it. I was looking for it and then I thought it was
That was our mayor. Mayor says that's 15 because it says Rekam and it's going on each one of the 3 minim. Altogether is 15. And the Gemara says you don't have to get after 5 from each. Altogether it shouldn't be less than 15. David 30. How do you get 30? Shloshim Shalevet. What does it have to do Shloshim Shalevet? My time of David because it's Xer Shava. Yalef Nesina Nesina Me'evet. There's Xer Shava, the word Yitain, they should give. That you find by here, it says you should give him, give the Eved Kanani, give the Eved Ivri Hanaka. And over there it says that you have to pay for the Eved Kanani that was killed by the shore, you have to give Shloshim. So it says the word Yitain. Ma'alalim Shloshim Avkan Shloshim. So it's Xer Shava, not because it's slow. It's Xer Shava that the word yitain, how much is to give. Over there you see giving is 30 selah. So here you have to give 30 selah.
And here it doesn't have anything to do with the song word.
Right. It doesn't say 3 times 30. It doesn't say, it says the word Nesina.
Give.
Kashi is it says the word Nesina also Xer Shava by Yerchin. Nesina by Yerchin. And over there it says 50. So maybe we should give more. Malal and Chamish Mavkan Chamishin. Just like you find that the Nesina by Yerchin is 50. Right. And now asking Rabbi Yehuda, why don't you say Chamishin?
Erchin for what? For an adult
For an
male?
adult between 20 and 50.
An adult.
Between 20 and 60.
A
So he
male.
has to give 50, yes. And the Gemara is going to, okay, so that, and
But the Chukasai or something, somewhere at the end of the Vayikra?
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And the Kasha is, so the answer is Chada, the Tafasta and Bubalo Tafasta, Tafasta more Tafasta,
The Fusta, the Ruba, the Lota Fusta.
Tafasta and Buba Tafasta, that Tafasta, that's
Ah,
called,
that-
you don't, if you have a
If
choice
you
of
get a
two
lot,
things,
you don't get anything.
don't get
If you get a
anything.
little, you
how do
did
they
get
say
something.
one in the bush is better than
It's better
two,
in your hand.
one in the bag
One
is
in the-
better than two in the bush?
One in the hand is better.
Than two in the
Than two in the
bush,
bush.
something like that. That's the
Better
point.
than two
That,
in the
yeah, I
bush.
think that's the word. That if you have a choice of two things, then don't take the big one, take the small one. So if you have, it's true. You find the word Nesina. In other words, it says the word Nesina by 50, but it says the word Nesina by 30 also. Here it says that I should give. It doesn't say with the largesse. It just says that you have a choice of 50 or 30. So then take the one that's 30. And also,
So what do you do with Chada? Is Chada part
First
of
of all, the two things.
Chada.
Chada, tefas mubala tefasta, tefas mubala tefasta. Second of all, the ode is like second of all.
Yeah.
That's some connection. This is something to do with an Eved. It's true. This is Eved Kanani. This is Eved Ivri. This is when he killed Eved Kanani. This is the present. But it's something to do with an Eved. So if you have a choice to learn from Eved or to learn from Erchin, it's more mustaber to learn from Eved, and therefore Buddha says to learn from Eved that is 30.
What are the two things that you learn?
You can learn 30 from Eved Kanani that was killed by a shore. You have to pay 30.
Yeah,
Or you can learn from Erchin.
that you pay 50.
You have to pay 50. So Gemara says Eved me Eved. It's better to learn Eved from Eved.
What does it have to do with learning?
You have a
What does it
choice
have
of
to
which
do
is
with
there
learning
Shabbat to
two
make.
English? I don't get.
Oh,
I don't
that's
get where are we
Tefas
learning
Meruba.
two, where you.
Tefas
What's the
Meruba.
Meruba?
Meruba is 50. 50 is more than 30. If you have a choice 50
Oh.
and 30, take the minimum.
Oh. Okay.
I would translate it a little bit that you're saying 50 is called Nesina. It's true, but 30 is also called Nesina. So you can't force me to get 50. 30 is also called Nesina.
Why does it value say this? That's the value? That's what you're saying.
No, nothing to do with value. Nothing to do with how much it's worth.
Erchin is that.
Erchin is a standard, no matter how much it's worth in the market, and Shloshim Shlomo is also a standard. Nothing to do with the market. I'm not sure what you're saying. It's nothing to do with the
I
market.
mean, Erchin is the evaluation of what.
Not what he's worth in the market. It's a standard. It goes according to age and gender.
So when it
That's
makes
all.
a neder, it says Erchin a lot.
But if it should be 50.
Gemara says we find that
You're gonna take a
Yitain is
better to
called
take
by
a
30 also. So no reason to pay 50 over here by the Hanukkah, even though it says the word
No, you don't
Yitain.
have to go according to the Erchin.
You go according to Shloshim
according
Shalom.
to
Shloshim
the
Shalom.
Zersha.
Not anymore. Everything's a
But
Gzer
sometimes
Shav. The question is which Gzer Shav? It says Yitain. It says Nesina. It says Nesina here. It says Nesina there. Which Gzer Shav are we gonna learn from? So it says from the smaller Gzer Shav, you find that it's called 30 also. Also, Eved is similar. So that similarity is the reason why we should choose this Gzer Shav over that Gzer Shav.
Okay.
Rav Shimon said 50. Rav Shimon Amar Chamishim, Chamishim Sheberchin. Now, what is his reason? So everyone should jump up. Yeah, we know it
Yeah, you
already.
should say.
My time with Rav Shimon, Gaman Nesina Me'erchin. Ma'alal Chamishim, Avkan Chamishim. That was his drasha. That you learn from American. It's also going to be a Gzer Shava that it says something about Yitain. But the Gemara says ve'ema pacha sheberchin, maybe the least erchin. Erchin is the 50 is the maximum. There's also an erchin about 3, I think, for below from a ben chodesh. Ben chodesh,
How much?
I think it's 3.
3?
Maybe boys
Oh,
five,
6 and
maybe.
3.
Yeah,
6 and 3. Or 5 and 3.
5 and 3.
5 and 3.
The answer is Asher beirachacha Hashem alokecha ksir. Also, this is being large. Just over here, it says, you should give the Hanukkah on a large scale. So if you have a choice of the minimum or the maximum, so you give the maximum. So it's going to be 50 instead of the minimum of 3.
But what don't they say about the Tefasta?
He doesn't know that. You're right. He's going to say Hashem beirachacha. V'neilef nesina me'eved mal halin shloshim afkan shloshim. And as we said, this is all part of the kasha. Actually, points out, don't stop here. This chada is going to be part of the kasha.
Uh-huh.
You have a choice to learn 30 or 50. So learn 30. First of all, we're putting Rav Yehuda's into Rav Shimon. Rav Yehuda had also the same choice to learn from Erchin or to learn from Shloshim Shalev. And he told us two reasons. First of all, and second of all, because Eved. So Rav Shimon, why are you learning the Erchin? 50. Learn out 30 from Eved. The answer is Rav Shimon doesn't learn it out from the Sina and the Sina. That was a mistake. We got it wrong.
That was a mistake.
It was a mistake. We thought he learns from the Sina and the Sina. He doesn't. He learns Micha. What's Micha? It means poverty. Like Kiyamuch Achicha. Because Gzer Shava, Rashi brings down the Gzer Shava, the Chiyamuch, and here it says, if he is going to be poor. Over there it talks about when did you buy an Eved? Because he was poor. The Chiyamuch Achicha, something with him Kalach. Is that how it says? And that's V'yikru Chafei. That's not the pasuk of the Re'eh, but over there in Bahar it talks about Eved that you bought. Over there it says he's poor, he sold himself. And Be'erchen it says V'machu, if he's Machu Me'erkecha as Gzer Shava. So this Gzer Shava will teach you to learn out, not because the Sina and the Sina. Then we would have gotten us 30. But there's a Gzer Shava, Mach, and Yamuch, and Mach. And therefore, he learns out to Erchin that is 50. First white line. Bishlam Rav Meir. Bishlam mother of Meir. How did they say some guy because he has to learn out? They have to have 3 times 5. Other Rav Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon that don't learn like that. It's on the ground B'Yakov Lomeli. Why do they have to learn out? Why does it say 3 things for?
In
the pasuk, it says you should give him from your sheep, from your granary, and from your bed. Right, yes. Made that uses it for number 3. Even though he also says you can give more of one less than the other, but he has to say 3 things. No, to learn out 3 times 5. But Rabbi Yehuda Shimon don't. They just learn out straight. 30, 50. What does that have to do with 3 types? So why does it say it for? And the Gemara is going to say in a second, you don't have to give these 3 types. That's what the Gemara is going to mean to say. You don't have to give these 3 types. The answer is, but it does teach you something. We need it for this following brisa. You think only these 3 things that says. So maybe there's no debanaka for something else. Was called over. You can give anything you want. You can give anything. Comes to teach you not after these 3 things. You can give him presents for anything. It tells you how much, 15, 30, 50, but you don't have to give after these 3 things. So why does it say these 3 things? This will come back to answer the kasha. Why does it say it for? And came out why does it say these 3 things? To learn out what type of things you should give him. That's the things that can reproduce, that can reproduce or produce something that should get bigger, it should become worth more. It's included in bracha. The word bracha means increase. They could all increase. What?
Why is the Yitzhak mentioned?
Why are these S mentioned?
Well, there must be the big klalim of Shem.
How come you have to have all 3 of them? We'll see. It must, you don't have to. It doesn't want to say extra things. It says the minimum. Okay. So it wants to tell us the common denominator of things that have increase. Sheep increase. Grain increases. Wine increases. Grapes increase.
But kesef would not.
But yatzuk ksefim, money doesn't grow.
Exactly.
No, it depends who you're talking to.
So in those days, yatzuk ksefim. Different Shimon. Shimon says money doesn't grow. Money doesn't grow. It comes to exclude money. You can't give him money. You have to give him something that increases, like sheep.
This is Rabbi Shimon's.
Oil can't really do anything, but you can only consume it.
You're saying oil doesn't increase either. What kind of oil?
Olive oil.
Olive oil grows. Olives grow.
Why does it grow?
Olives grow.
Not about the final product.
The grain also doesn't. Maybe the grain you could plant. The wine.
We're talking about Yerkev, we're talking about
the grapes. The word says money doesn't grow. Nowadays, people do look at money like a commodity, but it's not really. It's someone is going to use the money in order to invest in something that grows. Okay, I don't know. In those days, money was considered a static thing. What is it? It is what it is, and it doesn't grow. Maybe nowadays it'll be different. I don't know. According to the market today, maybe things are different. But Reb Shimon says that money is not a good present for the Eved. Reb Shimon Yaakov Omer. We're not going into that. That's not the subject over here. What does Reb Meir hold? You want to say that, you want to say, it could be, because Rabbi Meir was happy to say 3 times 5. So that's enough. You don't have to, maybe you can't darshan any more than that. But they don't use it for that. So maybe they're the ones who are darshan that it has to be similar to these things. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov Omer, Yosef those. Money is good. Mules are not good. That's what it sounds like more, that mules are not money. Because they can't reproduce. Rabbi Shimon says that they do increase. Traders for shopping the gufai. They can get fatter, they can get bigger. So that is called an increase. That's also worth more. It's a bigger mule. He's worth more. He's stronger. Rabbi Lezer ben Yaakov, Rabbi Yaakov says that money does increase because you can do business with it. Here the Gemara says. The Gemara says money does grow. But they have machlokes. He seems to have machlokes. Iska, he can do business with it. Otzricha, you need to have all these 3 things. He has to say its own. Goren, Yaakov, even though we'll say one alone will be that it's increase. You have to have all 3. It's not enough to say one. If it only say its own, I would think it has to be alive, something alive, and not something that grows. It has to be alive. Because Goren, that if it grows is good. Because of Goren, in the Balei law has to be something that grows. So because of its own. So it has to have both. You have a live animal, it says it, and it also says about something growing. Why does it say Yekev Lomali? What does it have to say? Another example? Lamar Lamute Ksofim, Lamar Lamute trade. So that comes to tell you the extra drasha that it's not enough to have anything which grows, because these things don't grow. What doesn't grow about it? One says money doesn't grow, one says mules don't grow, and each one says the other one does grow. Maybe money does grow, many traders do grow, but maybe it does, but each one holds that there's some aspect that doesn't grow. So you have, if you only would have had Tzon and Goren, you might have said that and as long as it's live or it grows, then you don't have to have these. We're not going to say these exclusions over here. Tanur Rabbanan, there's a few more lines. Tanur Rabbanan, Hashem Barach Hashem Elokecha says.
Was that all the price?
That was all. I think we were making the cheshbon ourselves already. Is it all? Is it price now? With Tzricha, the Tzricha might be from what Tzricha might be the Gemara talking about. Okay. The Gemara continues one more piece over here. It says in the pasuk, give the Eved this present because from that which Hashem blessed him. You might think that you only have to give him a blessing if you had Hatzlacha. During the time that you had this Eved Kanani, a lot of blessing in your house, then you have to give him the present. But if you didn't, nothing went so you don't have to give him a present. In any place, even if you didn't get a blessing in the house, you also have to give him. Why does it say the pasuk that Hashem blessed you? The more blessing you got, give him more. That means that the thing we said till now, 15, 30, 50, whatever we said, is the minimum. But if you got blessing, if you're a richer man, so give him more than that. That's the pasuk. Give a present.
Even if you
didn't have aslacha from his being your servant. And why does it say Hashem Be'Rachacha? That if you have more, give more. Everything we said so far, the 15, 30, 50 was all the minimum. But if you have more money, give him more, proportionately.
Is that the end of the
That's at the end of, who's talking here?
Tanur.
And now Rabbi Elazar argues on the Tanur Rabbanan, argues on the Tanur Kama. The farm kicks over and take it literally.
I'm sorry, we came. Did you do that?
Yeah. Why does the pasuk say for your blessing? Because you have to give even if you didn't get a blessing. The answer is if you have blessing, give him even more. If you did get blessing, then give him even more than the 15, 30, 50.
Oh, okay. So we're still going.
That was Tanakama. Rabbi Elazar argues. Take it what it says literally. This Baruch Bayis Biglolo, Manikim Lo. Lonas Bayis Biglolo, and Manikim Lo. You only have to give him a present if you got bracha in your house. Hashem gave you bracha because of him, then you give him. It's not now. You have to give
him the minimum.
No.
Not even the minimum?
That's what he says. You're back by the Tanakam. Rabbi Elazar ben Azari's argument. According to Rabbi Elazar ben Azar, you don't give him only if you got a bracha. So what's this extra riboy of Hanik Tanik, a double lashon? That's the way you talk. Nothing. Don't look at it as a riboy. It's not extra. Even though it says 2 words, that's the way you talk. Hanik Tanik, you shall surely, as the translated in English, you should surely give him the present.
Bestow upon him.
Bestow upon him. Yes, of course. Thank you, everybody. Sorry for the delay. Thank you.
Is it